Welcome to my channel. The story is about to begin.
Although he'd unexpectedly gained an incredibly talented and cheap mentor, Li still managed to return to the blacksmith's shop before midnight. He'd promised to come back and learn blacksmithing, and he'd never go back on his word. Of course, the main reason was that he wanted to master the life skill of forging. Having already nailed his main class combat skills, today he'd take care of his life class profession as well. By getting everything he could learn done on his very first day online, he'd be ready to leave town and start leveling up tomorrow. The plan is perfect. On his way back, he made a point of checking his gains from this afternoon until now. Professional combat skills. Mage Swordsman, Fire. Sword Blade Enchantment, Flame Wrap, Moonburning Slash, Flame Leaf Dance Water. Sword Blade Enchantment, Autumn Water, Tide Moon Slash, Streamflower Dance Dimensional Rift. Consumes 10% of your total energy plus 1,000 points of supernal energy, allowing your next slash to cleave through space. When the spatial slash hits, it deals 10 times true damage that ignores all defense. The spatial rift left behind persists for 10 seconds plus a duration equal to 1% of the energy consumed. During this time, the rift will ensnare the target, rendering it immobile while inflicting continuous spatial damage every second. No cooldown required. Time Stop Blade Strike. Consumes 10% of your total energy plus 1,000 points of transcendent energy to deliver a sword strike within melee range that ignores all defenses and always hits. The target is plunged into a time-stop state, rendering it unable to move, unable to use any abilities, and unable to recover health or energy. The duration of the time stop is 3 seconds plus an additional duration equal to 1% of the energy consumed. No cooldown required. Priest, Light. Healing Holy Light Sanctuary, Dawn's Arrow Storm, Blessing of the Word Dark, Judgment of Death Light, Shadow Ward, Spear of the Abyssal Depths, Abyssal Curse. In just 2 hours, Li Yi learned 2 rare priestly divine spells, Holy Light Sanctuary and Dawn's Arrow Storm, from his inexpensive mentor, Hestia. From these, he naturally derived 2 dark-aligned divine spells, Shadow Ward and Spear of the Abyssal Depths. Then, since he was the first priest player to learn a divine art, he received an additional bonus, a rare divine art called Blessing of the Prophets, which grants buffs. This triggered his innate talent once again, giving rise to Abyssal Curse, a curse-based skill that applies buffs to enemies. Unfortunately, there was no bonus reward for being the first player ever to master the main class skill. So these 2 skills couldn't be upgraded to legendary combat techniques and thus failed to undergo a qualitative transformation. He's still insatiable, but our candidate Saintis was genuinely astonished by how efficiently he learned skills. After all, learning a new skill itself is already time and energy intensive. Yet the versions she taught Lei were rare ones reserved exclusively for high-ranking clergy members, making them even more challenging. But Lei managed to master both skills in just 2 hours. Simply unbelievable. This only made her even more convinced that Li Yi was a divinely favored individual, and she began to pay even closer attention to him. Not only would he be exempt from tuition fees for tonight's skill lessons, but he'd also be charged nothing for any future skills. Any skill that Hestia knew, she'd teach him wholeheartedly. And judging by her string of titles, it was clear that she was undoubtedly a core member of the church's high-ranking leadership. The sheer number of powerful skills she possessed was beyond anything Li Yi could even begin to imagine. If he could learn all these skills, the savings in money would be truly staggering. Most importantly, Hestia herself was a dual-class character. She wasn't just a high-level priest and archpriest. She was also a divine knight, an advanced class of high-level paladin. By becoming her disciple, Li Yi would surely have the opportunity to learn skills from the paladin lineage. As long as he demonstrated to her that he had the ability to learn skills across different classes, she'd probably be more than willing to teach him. The more he thought about it, the more Li Yi felt that tonight's trip to the Blackstone Church had been absolutely worth it. If only he'd chosen a more normal time slot, he definitely wouldn't have reaped such great benefits. As he happily made his way back to the blacksmith's shop near the square, he found the door still open and Frode quietly at work, hammering away in silence. Li Yi immediately realized that Frode must have been waiting for him all along. So he stepped forward and offered his condolences. "Master, working late into the night like this. Won't you disturb the neighbors? Just then, Frode's hammer nearly landed right on his own hand. He almost couldn't help himself from swinging it straight at Lie's head as well. But somehow he managed to keep his composure. After taking a deep breath, he spoke calmly and nonchalantly. I thought you weren't coming. Once I make a promise, I'll always keep it. That's my life's principle. Just rambling on, Lie said casually. The main reason is that when I went to the church to learn divine arts, a holy maiden took a fancy to me. She insisted that I was chosen by the gods and absolutely had to take me on as her disciple. No way could I refuse. After that, she kept taking me on as a disciple and even giving me elixirs, which is why I'm still stuck here today. Frode shuddered all over, frowned at him. His gaze filled with intense complexity. The church? Weren't you a magic swordsman? How come you've started learning divine arts too? Wait a minute. So you're a dual-class character. Seeing Frode's strange expression, Lie immediately shot back, testing the waters. Yeah? What's wrong with that? Are dual-class characters rare? Of course they are. Dual-class characters are even rarer than those with dual attributes. Once they fully develop their abilities, each one of them will become a top-tier powerhouse capable of reaching the very pinnacle of the world. Any faction would treasure a dual-class character and spare no effort in nurturing them. The Holy Maiden Master from the Sanctuary Church you're talking about is the prime candidate to become the next Dawn Maiden. She's practically already assured of the position. Barring any unexpected twists, her status in the future will be on par with that of the Pope. If other factions discover a dual caller, they'll likely adopt pretty much the same level of intensive training. Tell me, doesn't that make it incredibly important and rare? But, just as Lie was getting excited, he suddenly heard the word, but, and his heart sank instantly. But what? Fred looked at him with a strange expression, then after a long pause said, but for people like you from another world, the importance attached to this will be greatly diminished. Lie immediately grew indignant and pressed further. Why is that? Are you locals discriminating against outsiders or something? Because you know what? I can't say more than that. If you really want to know the answer, go find it out for yourself. He almost revealed the truth, but immediately hesitated, his expression growing even more complicated. In his gaze, there was even a hint of pity. Lie narrowed his eyes and stared at him carefully for a moment. But in the end, he decided not to press further. Actually, his attitude already hinted at plenty. Since he couldn't speak, there was no point in asking anymore. It'd be wiser to just play it cool and focus on something meaningful instead. All right, I'll go look for it. But first, teach me how to forge iron. Right now, it's getting a bit late. No problem. I pick up new skills pretty fast. Didn't you just say you were worried about disturbing the neighbors? If you're not afraid of that, why should I be? Speaking of which, Master, you're not just a blacksmith, are you? You must have another main profession as well, right? I'm a warrior. I've retired now, and my combat prowess is nothing special. Can you teach me warrior skills? No need for anything too advanced. Low-level combat techniques will do just fine. You actually want to learn? I've got an awesome natural talent. I can even learn combat techniques from other classes, though they'll be a bit tougher than my main class skills. Just find some time to show me the ropes. You're some kind of prodigy, but this really goes against the rules. Screw the rules, my Holy Maiden Master herself said. As long as you take on a disciple, you can bypass the rules and teach them directly. Don't even think about trying to brush me off. I'm just your blacksmithing instructor. There's an old saying in our world. Once you're my teacher, you'll always be like a father to me. I've made it perfectly clear. I'd feel terrible if you didn't teach me. If the mercenary guild finds out, they'll impose serious penalties. Lie interrupted him firmly, his expression utterly confident. No way they won't. My master is the next Dawnlight Holy Maiden, and that's what you said yourself. Is it really okay for this brazen fellow to become the disciple of Her Highness? Won't he end up spoiling her instead? Ding! You've mastered the life skill, blacksmithing. Current level, Beginner. Your innate talent, Reversal Twin, has been triggered. You've also gained the additional life skill, Affix Magic. Current level, Beginner. Note: life skill levels are categorized as Beginner, Intermediate, Advanced, Expert, Master, Grandmaster, and Divine Craft. After spending the last hour mastering the basics of blacksmithing, Li felt thoroughly satisfied and logged off from the blacksmith's shop. The daily online time for the game, Divine Revelation, is limited. Roughly 6 hours in real-world time. But those 6 hours in-game feel like a full day, or 24 hours, to the player. And these 6 hours can be spent playing games while sleeping. This not only doesn't interfere with your body's rest, but actually helps players achieve deeper sleep and improved sleep quality. Well, at least that's what the official statement says. Li opened his eyes, removed the ring-shaped brain-computer interface he'd been wearing on his forehead, and stared at the exquisite mechanical device in his hand, which looked straight out of a sci-fi novel. His gaze flickered, his expression complex. A virtual reality game that's truly groundbreaking? Haha, that's taking it a bit too far. Isn't it? I hope it really is just a game. Li curled his lip into a faint smile, placed the Shinchi brain computer on the nightstand without even unplugging it, then reached for his phone with his other hand and lay down on the bed, starting to peek at his screen. As expected, once the first batch of players who'd logged in today finished their gaming sessions and went offline, returning to the real world, the entire internet was thrown into an uproar. A stir so huge it wasn't an exaggeration to say it had rocked the world. Right now, the internet is buzzing with discussions about Shen-Chi. Players are so excited that they can't help but share their enthusiasm, and their energy needs to be let loose. Amid all this excitement, there's also an overwhelming flood of tutsal, criticism, and balyan, complaints. Netizens are simultaneously thrilled and amazed, yet they keep on criticizing and even hurling insults. Truly a spectacle unlike any other. I'm seriously floored. The hype wasn't exaggerated at all. It's 100% authentic. The official team isn't trying to grab attention for the sake of it. You can play such an awesome game for just 2,000 yuan by buying a Shen-Chi brain-computer interface? That's downright Langshin, honest and fair. Where's the recharge portal? I want to top up. I'm ready to spend. No way, bro. You're serious, aren't you? At Shen-Chi official. Don't you think virtual reality technology is developing way too fast? All those so-called VR games we've seen before were total garbage, no different from regular games. How come you've suddenly managed to whip up a game as amazing as Shin-Chi? Don't you think something's off? It makes perfect sense that all the world's nations would join forces to develop this together, right? That's just how technology works. When a key breakthrough happens suddenly, it can completely transform an entire industry. This isn't a game, this isn't a game. This is humanity's second world. Ha ha ha. Damn it. I'm totally losing it. I'm about to lose it too. The game's great. It's undeniably realistic, but holy crap, it's way too real. After playing all day, I'm still barefoot, haven't taken a single quest, haven't fought a single monster. I've just been sightseeing. That's it. The planner. Come out here. What's going on with those NPCs you've created? They're actually mocking me and even dared to lay a hand on me. My dignity's been insulted. You've got to compensate me. I'm seriously freaking out. B-money in this game is just way too hard to earn. Barefoot, running errands and delivering goods for others. You work yourself to the bone, yet you only get a few copper coins per trip. After working all day, you almost don't even have enough to cover your meal expenses. I've never played such a frustrating game before. So why do we even have to eat in this game? Anyway, a word of caution to all players. The NPCs are incredibly unfriendly. They'll beat and scold you at the drop of a hat. If you take anything from them, you'll end up getting thrown into jail, wasting precious early game development time. What development time? First tell me how I'm supposed to develop my character. Damn it. There's not even a single guide. Whole day I've been wandering around like a headless fly, totally lost. Let's build a thread and discuss. How has everyone else managed to find work? Any good tips or career paths you'd recommend? Don't leave the city. Don't leave the city. The monsters outside the city are absolutely no match for level 0 players. Seconded. Those things look downright terrifying. /B. Image. Wow, this thing is just downright brazen. How on earth did the designers come up with such a hideous monster? Their brains must be seriously messed up. It's so brutal. 2 bites and it chewed me to pieces. That really hurts like hell. Designer. I think the pain effect could have been way less realistic. I'm freaking out. I'll have serious psychological trauma now. How in the world did this get approved? The game setting is absolutely insane. There aren't any cute, newbie monsters like the ones you'd find in online RPG novels. Not even goblins or slimes. The lowest level monsters are terrifying creatures that can scale walls and run at lightning speed, easily wiping out players. How the hell am I supposed to level up with this? Holy crap. As soon as I left town, a monster took me down in one hit. I didn't even get a good look at what it looked like. All I heard was a notification saying I'd been killed by the Abyss Shadow Demon and would have to wait a whole day before I could respawn. There's not even a newbie village. Players are born directly in the city, with no newbie quests to take on. At the end of the day, they're still level 0. On the size of the world in Divine Revelation games. I died early today and, after logging off, I took the time to gather some information. Turns out that almost none of the players I know are in the same place. The number of players at each starting point isn't very high, maybe at most 1,000 or 2 at most. That's kind of exaggerated, considering the official player count has already surpassed 100 million. With so many players entering the game, yet each starting city only gets a few hundred or 1,000 players. How huge must this map be? I also checked the forums, and there are now over 2,000 replies. Among them, only a handful of pairs of players were born in the same city. The number of distinct city names I've collected is close to 500. But what's even more astonishing is that there are over 100 national-level place names too. In other words, just these 2,000 plus players alone have been assigned to more than 100 different kingdoms. Do you guys know what this means? Could it be a foldable map? Or maybe a modular map? I don't get it. What's the point of discussing how big a map in a game is? At the end of the day, it's all just data, right? You really don't get it. Here's some important news. You can go learn skills from your own profession's mentor in your city, but the tuition fee is 10 silver coins, which is equivalent to 1,000 copper coins. Damn it. Why didn't you just rob them instead? I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna start shelling out cash. Game designers, come out here. Can't you even make money when you're supposed to? We've been collecting divine game currency long-term. Gold, silver, and copper. We'll buy it at high prices. Priority given to local players. This is way too hard. It's not even a matter of whether or not I'm willing to grind anymore. Normally, I'd steer clear of games this challenging, but this one feels so incredibly realistic. I just don't want to give up. I second that. What a game that's both loved and hated. It really feels like a second life. Even if you don't bother getting stronger, just exploring and traveling around is worth the price of admission. You can experience an entire day in another world while you're sleeping. What's the difference between that and extending your lifespan? I'll never be able to resist playing this again. I've instantly lost interest in all other games. What's your special talent? Anyway, mine is mental focus, which boosts my efficiency by 40% when studying. Is that impressive? I played all day but still haven't found anything worthwhile to learn. I'm not even sure how effective it really is. Is anyone else playing in a group? I'm at Red Maple Castle in Autumn Leaf Territory, Silver Maple Empire. The Dragon March Guild is recruiting players for the Divine Revelation event, paying over 10,000 yuan per month. You can earn money while you play. That's awesome. Lee scrolled through multiple platforms and forums, spending ages reading comments, and gleaned a lot of valuable insights from them, along with a growing sense of superiority. Liu, the other player's progress is really lagging behind. Could it be fake? Is this game really that hard? I don't feel any challenge at all. When playing Divine Revelation, my real-life body must have actually fallen into a deep sleep. The server opened at 9 p.m., and by the time Liu logged off, it was already the middle of the night, 3 a.m. usually. He'd fall asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow at times like these. but after logging off he wasn't sleepy at all. In fact, he felt oddly energized, almost overly alert, making it impossible for him to fall asleep. All he could do was scroll through his phone all night long, and even when dawn broke, he still looked wide awake and full of energy. There's definitely something going on here. After getting up and washing up, Liu tidied himself up, headed downstairs, hopped onto his beloved little electric scooter, and rode to the breakfast shop near his residential complex for a hearty early morning meal. Only after feeling completely satisfied did he ride his scooter to his company, just 2 kilometers away from home, and clock in for work. In fact, Li Yi, as a reincarnated soul with memories of his previous life, has already achieved financial freedom simply by working as a copycat writer. He's not exactly a billionaire, though he'd certainly qualify as someone with a modest fortune. Originally, he didn't need to go to work at all. But if you don't give yourself something meaningful to do, you'll end up wasting away over time. Besides, he doesn't really enjoy that kind of hedonistic lifestyle, filled with flashing lights, fine wines, and opulent extravagance. Mainly, he's worried about ruining his health and getting sick, which could jeopardize his goal of living a long and healthy life. So he carefully chose a job for himself. Right now, the NCN company called Tsinghua Media is precisely the one he's selected. There are many reasons why he picked it. It has ample funding, a strong backing, and promising growth prospects. Its boss is a young lady from a wealthy family who started her own business using her family's capital. And she's highly capable, yet far from being an entitled, spoiled princess. But the most important reason of all is that there are lots of beautiful women there. NCN, under its umbrella are tons of gorgeous female streamers, including many popular internet celebrities with millions, even tens of millions of fans, as well as top-tier, hardworking cosplayers who've become internet sensations. Especially after Li Yi joined the company in a powerful capacity as a screenwriter, NCN has really expanded into the short-form drama business, releasing one-hit web series after another and attracting a swarm of high-looking actresses who've long dreamed of becoming stars but never got their chance. Now they're flocking to join NCN. Right now, it's no exaggeration to say that during work hours, Li Yi is practically surrounded by beautiful women. Sure, I'm not saying it's all about getting an advantage, but at least it's plenty pleasing to the eye. Li Yi. I've worked my tail off for 2 lifetimes and suffered through 2 entire lives worth of hardship. Now, what's wrong with taking a little pleasure in looking at some gorgeous ladies? Don't you guys love watching them? Alright, let's just come clean. I'm a total flirt. I'm honest, and that deserves some praise. Editor-in-Chief Li, you're here. Yi. Good morning. Did you dream about anyone last night? Good morning, Brother Li. Editor-in-Chief Li, are you free this morning? I didn't quite grasp the script you gave me the day before yesterday. Could you please give me some guidance? I'm begging you. Editor-in-Chief Li, I've made a bento box. Would you like to join me for lunch? Brother Li Yi, I've been practicing that cat meow song you taught me last time for ages. How about you come over to my room tonight and listen to how I'm doing? Brother Li. As soon as I stepped into the office, one gorgeous female streamer after another, female actresses, and female co-workers came up to greet me. Some just offered polite hellos, while others practically threw themselves at me, with increasingly clingy tones. There wasn't any cliched, snobbish attitude toward him. No one looked down on him with disdain, and certainly no one started off their encounter with cold sarcasm or mockery. Everyone is so warm and friendly. Li Yi felt deeply gratified. Just look at this harmonious atmosphere. Where's any little fairy? They're all just my obedient, sensible, and clingy little sisters. All good, all good. You guys really must work hard today. Leave your packed lunches in my office. I'll head over to the recording studio at 3 o'clock for the singing session. Just drop by my office an hour after we wrap up the script discussion and wait for me there. Now, everyone, feel free to go ahead and disperse. I've got something important to discuss with the boss. Smiling, Li Yi smoothly brushed off the little sister's persistent attention and strode confidently toward the president's office. On the way, he spotted a sexy beauty dressed in office attire and wearing glasses. As soon as she saw him, she couldn't help but compliment him. Secretary Liu looks even more stunning today. Radiant and full of vitality. Has General Qin arrived yet? I've got something to talk to her about. The beauty adjusted her glasses and gave him a sweet smile, her movements graceful and elegant. General Qin came early this morning and is right inside now. But, Editor Li, General Qin doesn't seem to be in a very good mood this morning. After hearing this, Li Yi wasn't surprised at all. After all, he'd already anticipated it. Just as he placed his hand on the doorknob, he gave her a seductive smile and said, "Really? No big deal. Once she sees me, her mood will instantly improve." Secretary Lu smiled so sweetly that two adorable dimples appeared at the corners of her mouth. Editor Li is still as confident as ever. Don't believe me? How about we make a bet? The loser treats the winner to dinner. Lu Qingqian gave a demure smile, her voice soft yet firm. I've never lost before, no bet. Look at you. You can't even afford to lose anymore. Fine, if you lose, I'll treat you. Okay? Then I won't be polite. I'll take you up on that, thanks, Editor Li. Seriously. You're impossible to handle. After teasing the boss, the beautiful secretary, Li pushed open the door and stepped into the spacious, immaculate office. There, in the bright, clean space, he found a powerfully commanding woman dressed in formal attire, head bent over her computer, her brows furrowed tightly, her face as cold as ice. Even in Qinglan media, where beauty abounds, this stunning female boss stands out as one of the most strikingly beautiful, like a flower atop a lofty hill, utterly unique and unshaken by the vibrant hues of all the other blossoms. The only downside is that she's just a bit too cold, making people hesitate to approach her. This isn't aloof arrogance. Rather, it's simply her natural demeanor. Her beauty is so strikingly captivating that it almost feels aggressive, but in reality, she's anything but rude when dealing with others. On the contrary, she's graceful, poised, humble, and deeply respectful. Such a perfectly polished boss has always left Li Yi thoroughly satisfied. Now, seeing her like this, he immediately stepped forward and said, "General Qin, I've got something really important to discuss with you." Hearing his voice, Qin Jilan looked up and asked with a somewhat complicated expression, "You're not here to resign, are you?" Li Yi was taken aback for a moment. "What are you talking about? We're not sisters. You're speaking out of nowhere. What kind of talk is that? Why on earth would I quit my job when everything's fine? And what do you mean, who's quit?" Qin Jilan let out a sigh of relief and turned the laptop in front of her toward him, saying with a hint of exasperation, "There are so many. People started submitting their resignations early this morning. The number is just too huge. Even the HR department was taken aback, which is why they've passed the cases over to me." Li Yi pulled the laptop closer and took a closer look. Most of the resigners were employees in ordinary positions, but there were also some mid-level managers among them. He had a vague hunch about the reason, yet he still asked, "Do you know why they're quitting?" "Shinchi," she replied. "So, it's because they want to focus entirely on playing games that they've chosen to resign? These employees often have to work overtime and night shifts. Maybe they feel that these schedules are cutting into their gaming time. I remember you bought a Shinchi brain computer, didn't you?" Hearing this, Li Yi smiled teasingly and joked, "So you're afraid I'll quit my job just because of the game?" Miss Qin didn't say a word. She realized she'd just been a bit out of character. How could she have lost her composure and asked such a question? The boss was blushing. Li Yi chuckled inwardly and casually replied, "You're overthinking it. I can only play this game for 6 hours a day, and that's more than enough time to get a good night's sleep. Why would I even think about quitting over something like that? And after I finish playing, I've still got 18 hours left. Do you really think I just sit around doing nothing?" Then, with a playful grin, he added, "Besides, I'd hate to part with you, boss. No matter how fun the game is, it'll never compare to how great you are." Ahem. To me, you're way more important than the game." "All right, stop talking nonsense," Qin Jilan said. Her cheeks faintly flushed as she interrupted his slightly flirtatious praise. Then, in a serious tone, she asked, "So, what did you want to talk to me about?" Li Yi also put away his smile and said in a serious tone, "Boss, I'm here to help you solve this problem. I've got a plan that can not only tackle the current dilemma, but also turn this crisis into an opportunity, restoring clarity to what now seems like a dark situation. Miss Chin didn't take the joke. She simply uttered a single word, "Go on." Right now, divine revelation is riding high in popularity, and its popularity will only keep skyrocketing in the future. I guarantee that in the days ahead, it won't just be media companies like ours that feel its impact. It'll affect every industry under the sun. This game is bound to become the trend of the times, and no one will be able to snatch away its audience. So all we need to do is this. If we can't beat them, let's join them. Qin Jilan frowned slightly. You mean? Exactly. I suggest our company immediately pivot and start working on projects related to divine revelation. All those beautiful female streamers, stop skirting the line. Just jump on the bandwagon and ride the hype of this game. Even short dramas should be about this game. If they're romance stories, at least have the love scenes take place within the game itself. And don't even get me started on game live streaming. Every single one of them should switch over to playing divine revelation. Most importantly, immediately require everyone in the company, from top to bottom, to buy brain-computer interfaces. We can adjust work schedules to ensure employees get their 6 hours of gaming time, and we could even lend money to employees so they can afford these devices. If we do all this, would any employee still think about quitting? With things going this way, not only will no one quit, but our company will also grab a huge slice of the spotlight. And in the future, we'll surely leverage the momentum from divine revelation to reach new heights. /B After listening, Qin Jilan fell silent for a moment before softly saying, "You're actually suggesting that all employees voluntarily start playing the game? Doesn't that just turn us into a gaming guild?" "Right." Li Yi slammed the table. "That's exactly it. We'll create a gaming guild that truly embodies the spirit of a media company. Trust me. This is absolutely going to be a hit." Qin Jilan gazed deeply into his eyes and asked again, "You're really that confident about this game?" Li Yi met her gaze just as intensely and replied, "I've already played this game. Right now, I'm probably the person in the world who believes in it the most. In fact, I'd even dare to say that anyone who doesn't play this game in the future will surely be left behind by the times." Perhaps for the first time, Qin Xiaojia noticed just how serious Li Yi could be. Her breath caught for a moment, then she took a deep breath and said, "All right, I get it. Let's give it a shot. Though for now, at least use your approach to calm down everyone below." Li Yi instantly reverted to his usual carefree demeanor, smiling as he said, "Then how about we have dinner together tonight and really dive into the details of our transformation?" Qin Jilan ignored him, pulled the computer back to her desk, and immediately switched into work mode without even lifting her head. "No need. Didn't you already invite Secretary Liu to dinner? Since it was your suggestion in the first place, why don't you just whip up a proposal and hand it over to me before you leave?" Lei Ye's expression instantly darkened. Then he said with a hint of resentment, "General Manager Qin, your office has terrible soundproofing. It's really affecting your work. You'd better get it renovated soon." The ICCO's lips curled ever so slightly upward. "Don't worry about that, Editor Lei." With a somewhat frustrated look, Lei Yi left the CEO's office. As soon as he stepped out, he spotted Lu Qingqian waiting patiently by the door. His eyes lit up, and a sly plan formed in his mind. He quickly closed the door behind him, leaned in close, and whispered softly, "Secretary Liu, General Manager Qin asked us to collaborate on a proposal for the company's transformation into a Shinchi gaming guild. We've got to submit it before the end of the day. Once you're done with whatever you're working on, why don't you come by my office and we can tackle it together? I'll provide the ideas. Your job is to put them together into a PPT." Lu Qingqian said with an elegant smile, tilting her head slightly as she countered, "Mr. Qin meant for you to do it all by yourself, didn't he?" Editor Li. In ancient times, passing off someone else's words as divine edicts could get your entire family wiped out. Although Mr. Qin has always been quite lenient toward you, you'd still do well to be a bit more careful in the future. Li Ye's face darkened once again, his temper flaring up slightly. "Damn it! I knew this lousy office had terrible soundproofing.